A couple of days before Christmas, I posted a video entitled Buyer's Remorse, explaining why after months of waiting and after creating a YouTube video channel, this one, specifically for my Triumph rocket, I decided not to buy the one I had on order. Well, not to put too fine a point on it, and all things being relative, this is a small 6-month-old channel about motorbikes after all. This video basically went viral over the Christmas and New Year holiday, attracting 150,000 views in the first week and over 3,000 comments. And first off, many thanks to all those of you who expressed their support for my decision. You got exactly why I had turned down the rocket and were kind enough to leave encouraging comments and suggest which bikes I might want to look at instead. Nearly a month on now from the video going live, I totally stand by the reasons I gave at the time for rejecting the rocket, and I have absolutely no regrets about walking away. This bike was always going to be a toy for me, and once the novelty had worn off, after what I suspect would only have been a matter of days, possibly weeks, then I would have been left with little more than a very expensive garage ornament. I would even go as far as to say that the Rocket R may well turn out to be a bit like the Yamaha Nikon, a curiosity that everyone wants to try but nobody actually buys. While I was in France over the New Year, I came across this red demonstrator parked outside a dealer, lined up next to other normal Triumphs. It looked faintly cartoonish, and sitting on it confirmed the impression I'd had when I tried my Black R back in Lisbon. A riding position that would, I suspect, become irritating after 20 minutes or so. You're almost horizontal, like on a drag bike. While I haven't tried one, I think the GT setup, feet forward and higher pulled back bars, probably suits the bike better. My doubts about the bike were further borne out by a review I read recently in a slightly left-field French bike magazine. They basically said that the rocket was great for accelerating up and down the Promenade des Anglais in Nice or impressing the crowds at bike meets or down the pub. But other than that, they wondered exactly what it would be used for. And in their list of top bikes they've tested over the past few years, it came a lowly 120th out of 170. 23,000 euros. Sorry folks, but all things considered, I think I've dodged a bullet. Now, most of you who saw the Buyer's Remorse video had been following my channel for a few weeks and knew that I was in the market for a replacement for my Honda CB500X. A great little bike, but which I felt suffered from a lack of power and annoying vibration at high speed. You got why I listed the adventure/touring bikes as alternatives to the rocket at the end of my video. About 5% of the comments, however, were, how shall I put this charitably, less sympathetic to my cause. Now, the exact workings of the YouTube artificial intelligence algorithm are shrouded in mystery, but I got the distinct impression that as the video went viral, it was being shown on the feeds of people who'd previously never seen any of my videos, much less heard of the channel. I began to receive more and more aggressive comments questioning my sanity and, even on occasion, my sexuality. The worst comments were automatically held back for review by YouTube's new filters, but of course I still had to read them and deal with them appropriately. Basically, any gratuitous aggression or the use of swear words results in an instant ban. My rule of thumb being that any comment you write in the comments section that you would not feel comfortable saying to my face is deleted, and that's what I did. Anyway, after having to stomach the disappointment of my dream bike not living up to my expectations, this was the kind of aggro that I could do without, especially over the Christmas and New Year holiday. And as much as I appreciated the good-natured exchanges with and suggestions from the vast majority of you, responding to all the comments was taking up more and more of my time, and if I'm honest, I was beginning to find the whole thing a little wearing. The straw that broke the camel's back, though, came on January the 7th, so just over a week ago. An email from Triumph, no less, telling me that they required me to take down the Buyer's Remorse video. Well, now, I had two choices. Either I made a stand like a principled journalist and refused to take the video down, or I acquiesced. And after 5 minutes of deliberation, I went with the second option for the following reasons. If Triumph were no longer giving their tacit consent for me to film inside their premises and or sales personnel, then I didn't really have a leg to stand on, privacy laws being what they are now. Second, they hadn't refunded my €1,000 deposit, and while it wasn't explicit in their email, I did sense that the deposit would be processed a lot more quickly if the video was no longer online. And finally, I started this channel 6 months ago for a bit of fun, really, a way of sharing my passion for motorcycling and the Portuguese scenery that you can see here. Lawsuits with manufacturers was not part of the business model. So within 10 minutes of Triumph's email being received, I had taken the offending video down, without being able to provide any sort of warning or explanation to you until now. So apologies to all of you who left the 3,000 plus comments, and sorry for those who didn't see the video. I would be interested in hearing what you think of Triumph's attitude, particularly if you did see the video before I was asked to take it down. So please let me know in the comments section below. Anyway, while all this furore was going on in the background, I continued to research my new bike. I tried the Yamaha Tracer 900 last week and unsurprisingly found the engine absolutely fabulous. If anything, perhaps a little too sporty for what I'm looking for. The riding position was spot on for me at 6'3", though my lower legs did feel a little cramped and the back of my ankles rubbed against the pillion foot pegs. Wind protection was good and low speed fueling was fine, though not perfect. The brakes were good but not amazing. I've yet to find anything that comes close to the feel of the Brembo M50s on my street triple. The suspension was okay, but nothing more than that, with the rear in particular feeling a little bit lazy, despite the fact that the test bike had been set up for my weight. The screen, the instruments were a little disappointing. Legible enough, but unnecessarily small. Surely these days big TFT screens are cheap enough, so why are manufacturers still making them so tiny? In GT spec, the Tracer comes with every conceivable option as standard, even the very nice colour-coded rigid panniers are included, though I don't need that much carrying capacity or extra width, and I asked the salesman to remove them for my test ride. A nice enough bike then, one of the best I've tried over the last few months in fact, but I won't be getting one. It all just felt slightly old, as if it had been designed 5 years ago, which of course it was. The tweaks and extras that Yamaha have thrown at the bike do make it very pleasant, but the game has moved on since 2015 and I think I can do better. So I have ordered, this time with a non-refundable deposit, the new BMW F900XR. It appears to offer everything the Tracer does, with that added touch of modernity that I felt was missing on the Yamaha. And yes, before you ask, I have sat on it and even ridden it, if only for 50 metres indoors. And fully spec'd with equipment unavailable on the Tracer, like semi-active suspension, lean angle ABS, up and down shifter, keyless go, and BMW's gorgeous iPad-style dash. It was within €100 of the Yamaha. I won't say any more at this point, other than that I knew as soon as I saw it, felt it, and rode it, that this was the bike for me. Delivery's been promised around the middle of February, and of course I'll be posting my first impressions as soon as it arrives. And finally, in response to questions left in the comments section, what's going to happen to the channel name? Well, I'm sure you'll agree that as nice as the BMW might look, F900XR Man isn't quite as catchy as Rocket Man, so I've decided to stick with the old name for the time being, if only to serve as a reminder of the very costly mistake I nearly made. As always, thanks for watching.